Hello again. I am here to speak of my thoughts on the amazing digital circus. And I just realized someone did point out like they don't even do circus things, so like which you're not wrong, but like it would have been cool to see them at least do some circus things. So, spoilers if you haven't seen the show or the series. Not like major, but still is because you still need context, for for what I'm gonna talk about. um, so I want to speak of just like the show, like I mean, it means a lot to me. When I'm like really into something, I like go into it really hard, which is not new. Like if you see my stuff behind me, like I do get obsessive really fast and I like to collect stuff. I mean, I was looking at the camera like behind me, but like I like to do that. Um, Especially with shows that I'm currently obsessed with at the moment and I guess hyper fixated, I guess that's what it's called. So it's not like this is new. um, anyways, so visually love the series, like how it looks. I really like the direction of the visuals, the liminal, the nostalgia, the love for it, because I really liked old internet. I mentioned it before, and I grew up with old style internet, how it was not back in the day. Well, I guess that would make sense, right? How it was when I was growing up. And I would see stuff like Starfall, Flash games, how old forums would look like, like on the internet, how people would um had some distinctive nice visuals going on their own like websites, and making websites for their favorite characters. I actually do remember, I think it's called LiveJournal. I don't know if the person used LiveJournal, and I remember they liked Murdoch from the Gorillas a lot, and they had made a art page little thing going on for him, and I found that very interesting when I was a teenager. I think I was 13 when I discovered that. I think we're getting off track. Let's go back, right? um so yeah, let's start. I was gonna mention like points from the show that kind of like hit really close to home. um One of them was Pomni's character. She was the most relatable to me, and she is my favorite character. When she said she had a YouTube channel, I was like, girl, same. But I am not I'm not an accountant, but I do work in like retail, and it's just wanting more in life. I think when she mentioned in the bar scene, that was really like relatable. Fearing people out, I think she tends to do that a lot, like observing and watching people carefully. And I noticed that's something I do as well. And trying to just look out for others even when you're going through stuff yourself. And her anxiety is very like on the nose, because I don't try to show it, but I do overthink a lot. I get really bad anxiety, and I usually try to keep it still. Anyways, I'll probably come back to her, but let's go to Gangle. So another thing about Gangle that I found really relatable was when she was talking about her life in college and how she dropped out, and how she kind of gave up on art, but in the show she still does her art, and I was like, I don't know what they're barking at. I was like, should I go check? No. And I actually did give up on art like here and there, but I think I made a video I did about going again on art, which is also a journey on its own. um but one thing that really stand out on that one episode where she was working at Spudsy's, aka like McDonald's. I actually worked at McDonald's at one point, and when she zones out really bad, I remember going through those emotions as well. Like, I felt like I was gonna be stuck at this job forever, and you know, I was doomed to eternity of working at McDonald's or at one point at this grocery store. And I remember friends saying it's so like bleak in there. It really is. Like, it feels like it's stuck in time. In that grocery store, I worked for like maybe 2 years max, and I just wasn't going anywhere with it. And I remember my dad telling me like, you're not moving in life. And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. uh I don't know. But yeah, that was a very relatable moment with her. I do see myself a little bit in her as well, and I am rooting for her towards the finale, because this is gonna be what, before finale. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'll do a follow-up on this. Probably not. I don't think so. If I do, it probably won't be long. Next would probably be Ragatha. So Ragatha, I did not really relate to her the most at all, but I do like her character. She does remind me of a friend. But she also reminds me of not how I used to be, but I was a very big people pleaser. And you know, maybe that's why I couldn't relate to her. I don't know. And learning to heal from it is not easy. So you know, yeah, I kind of see, yeah. Anyways, a conversation she had with Kinger in the show where he was telling her, and it's a very not overplayed, but it resonated with a lot of people, where he says taking space from someone is normal and healthy. And I think that was a really good boundary, like, that I think, yeah, it was a nice touch in the show. Another thing, giving space does not mean giving up on people, and I do like that. You know, I do think that was a good thing as well. All right, let's get to Jax. So Jax is, surprisingly, he is my favorite character, but I would put him to second. Like, he's now in the second rank. He was very relatable at first, but eventually I noticed something about Jax, and I noticed, like, his grief for his friends, and probably for his self, maybe, I don't know. That was very relatable. Him grieving, or you would say like delayed grieving, because I actually had a delayed grieving myself with my grandpa, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's not something you kind of know. I don't know. Like, I just remembered it was last year where it was hitting the most, because I was dreaming a lot about him, and I was waking up crying, and I didn't realize it was delayed grief that I was having, and I'm still learning to I guess heal. I don't know if that's the word for it, but yeah. um the music for the opening, the just a snippet of it where it's like da 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 da, da. I really like that opening theme. It's like one of my favorites. It's just something so like the way it's just the piano and the flutes or whatever it is. It just it's beautiful in my opinion. um I don't think I really relate to Zubul much, if I'm gonna be yeah, I don't really relate to them, but I would really like to have them as a friend. If I'm ever real, I feel like they'll be a really, really good friend to have. And I feel like they'll be so open of you being expressive. Or I feel like they enjoy people when they're just themselves. And which I feel like this is probably what the show is trying to say, is like being yourself and having your own like internal issues, I guess. Doesn't mean you're um I guess doesn't mean that you're broken or anything like that. It just makes you human. Human. It just makes you human. But yeah, I don't really want to get into like theories. I kind of want to just stick to like, from what I'm getting, the main message of the show, and if I'm guessing right, I guess, I think what the show wants, or what the creator themselves wants to portray, that connections do matter, and just be there for others, however you can, or however you like, or however you can do, you know, like without overextending, without putting yourself in a situation where it's too much for you. I think that's what it's going for, and that's what I think personally. um like I said, I think it's a very character driven show, and I really like shows like that. But yeah, like closest I could think was an anime, and that was Mob Psycho 100. Oh my god. Sorry. I just thought about them and it just came. Yeah. I will say, though, I feel I am happy with the direction it's gone. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. Also, I'm low-key. I'm glad I got some of my friends into this show, so a win is a win. And also, I mentioned I don't think I'll do a follow-up. I really don't think. I think this is it. What is more to say? You know, I really don't know. I mean, if I do have something more, maybe a follow-up. Who knows? I know I'm contradicting myself, right? But yeah, this show really resonates, especially someone my age, I think. But I don't know, like we'll see on the finale. I will probably see y'all later, and yeah, if I do come back, who knows?